NLX Program Director. And that involves, oh man, that involves so much. As I mentioned, you know, you're tracking down music and sourcing out Aboriginal artists, which can be a bit of a challenge because they don't get the airplay that a Miley Cyrus or a Pink might get. You know, so it's sometimes difficult to track their music down. And luckily, I had some good resources to find that. So tracking the music down, getting spoken word content. The language team of the CNA has been awesome in that regard because they've provided, you know, words and phrases in Nlaka'pamux, which really, you know, just puts the stamp on the radio station for that, you know, and to have that culture and to have that language. Other things are programming the radio station every day, you know, with the music and the spoken word content, getting interviews done, and I know the CNA, some of the other CNA staff and the summer students have been awesome with that and providing that content, so that's been fabulous. It definitely has to be getting the radio station up and running, NLX Radio. It's really a labor of love, and there are a lot of challenges getting it up and running. You know, in sourcing the music and sourcing spoken word content, and tracking all of that down and pulling all of that together. The logistics of, you know, getting an internet radio station up and running are probably just as difficult as a terrestrial radio station. So definitely, yeah, having NLX up and running within, I think it was 2 or 3 months, we had it up and running. So that is definitely one of the biggest things that I'm quite proud of with the CNA. I would have to say it's the people, like working. Everybody at the CNA is just fabulous. You know, it's a sense of, to me anyway, it's a sense of community. It's a sense of you know, helping each other out. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just working with the people and the different experiences and the different personalities, and it's just a lot of fun. I think it's already doing it, you know, as far as having the culture, the cultural programs that are coming up that the staff are working on, the language team and the work that they're doing with making sure that that's preserved. I know that the manager and some of the other staff are working on sort of expanding the programs that are available to youth as well. So I think that's a great direction to go in, right? Because, you know, the youth, I think, are picking up on that, and they still have a lot of the elders around to help them understand the importance of the culture and the language. So those, to me, those are the two big things, right? Sort of looking at it as an outsider, if you will, looking and going, those things are awesome. I mean, there's a lot of societies that don't do that, and to have that that drive and that passion to grow in those areas, language and culture, it's fantastic. I have, yeah, definitely. I get along with everybody at the CNA. The things I've learned a lot about Nlaka'pam culture. I've learned a few phrases in Nlaka'pam. Don't ask me to do them because I know I'll screw them up, but if I hear it, I understand it. And you know, that's kind of neat for me, and a lot of the other stuff that I've done in researching for the radio station, as far as a lot of the stories go, and they're not all Nlaka'pam stories. A lot of them are, and I've learned a lot about, you know, the local area, the Nicola Valley and Nlaka'pam culture, from hearing those stories that that Mary is doing from the language program, and a lot of the other stories that I've researched that are not necessarily Nlaka'pam stories, but they're traditional stories, right? So I've picked up a lot of interesting tidbits, I think, in listening and researching those. So yeah, it's been a real eye opener to me for what has been about 1.5 years now, I guess, and it's been tremendous. I've been in radio over 26 years. Started out in news, and the real reason I got into radio was to tell stories. So this is almost like full circle for me, because I'm back to doing that again in the content on NLX Radio. I've worked in Vancouver. I've worked overseas in radio. I've been a news anchor, a news reporter, a DJ, a program manager, a music director, everything you can do in radio, I've pretty much done it. And the thing that really excites me about internet radio is that you have so much more freedom and creativity. Mainstream radio can be a little bit confined sometimes, but with internet radio, especially if you have a group of people that believe in what you're doing and believe in building the culture and the language, and especially with Aboriginal stations, because there's so much that you can cover and explore and put on the air. Yeah, I love it. It's great.